Observing war-torn Earth, advanced aliens send 3 members of their galaxy patrol to evaluate whether or not the planet should be spared or destroyed. Disguised as a rabbit, a duck, and a horse, the Wonder Three, as they're called, meet an innocent boy in the Japanese countryside. Initially, the Wonder Three see Earthmen as barbaric, but when they join Shinichi in their fight against a global conspiracy, they may just begin to change their minds. Wonder 3 was created by Osamu Tezuka and serialized in 1965 and 1966 by first Kodansha and then Shogakukan in Weekly Shonen Magazine and Shukan Shonen Sunday, respectively. And that is another tongue twister. I'm surprised I got through it.
I'm confused.
Oh yeah, that's my fault. Okay, let me explain. Right, the history behind this story is very, very confusing. And it led to my confusion in picking a title. So, all right, I had to take a breath. Okay, so Wonder 3 is the name of the manga in both Japanese and English. W3 is like, I think, what it's stylized as. However, the anime, being Wonder 3 in Japan, is different in America. It's the Amazing 3 in America because Americans got to be different, and I'm guessing that, Amazing 3 actually makes a lot more sense in English. Okay, now that wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't for the fact that the anime and the manga are very different. Now, if the anime and the manga were the same, I would have just stuck the Amazing 3 as a title and left it at that. But because they're different, I have to go by the title Wonder 3, and that causes some problems because I'm trying to do this in alphabetical order, and W, as we all know, comes way after A. So, to solve the problem, I'm going to put both the Amazing 3 and Wonder 3 in the thumbnail and call it a day. And the reason I decided I would go ahead and do this instead of just switching off to something else was because I promised to do it in the previous video and I'm not editing that. So there's that.
I mean, that's all well and good, man, but that's not what was confusing me. You said this appeared in 2 magazines. Explain!
You're not my boss. But yes, I actually have to explain that because that explains why the anime and the manga are very different. Alright, so stay a while, because this gets very complicated.
Okay, I'm ready.
Alright, so okay, this is going to take a little while to explain. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is that the manga of Wonder 3 and the anime of Wonder 3 were created simultaneously. Actually, the anime inspired the manga. So, it was one of the rare instances where an anime inspires a manga, not the other way around. However, they were meant to have the same story because, they were initially the same story. But there were some problems. Alright, there was another anime out there called Space Boy Soren. Alright, if I remember that correctly. Space Boy Soren. And it had a squirrel in it.
Okay, it has a squirrel.
Problem, though, is that the rabbit that I mentioned earlier, her name's Boko, she was originally meant to be a squirrel. This led to beliefs, at least in Tezuka's mind, that his show was probably, suffering from some sort of leak.
You're talking about corporate espionage.
Possibly. However, he didn't pursue anything with that. He just changed the squirrel to a rabbit and moved on. Alright. Okay, so as he produced the manga in Weekly Shonen Magazine, which is by Kodansha, he heard that Kodansha was actually going to produce the manga version of Space Boy Soren, the anime I was talking about, and he didn't like that. Because, first of all, it would make it seem as if his manga was copying Space Boy Soren. Right? Being a creative with some integrity, he didn't want that, right? Nothing's worse than making something that everybody believes that you copied. And I know this from personal experience. There's been times where I would be working on a story and then somebody would come up with something similar and I'm like, oh man, I feel like I gotta change everything. I don't want the people to think I'm copying this person. But anyway, this ain't about me.
Yeah, right. Keep going.
Okay. So, he went to Kodansha and pleaded to them to cancel the manga release of Space Boy Soren. They wouldn't do it. So he said, forget y'all, and moved on to Shugakukan and their magazine, Shukan Shonen Sunday. Okay, he probably didn't say forget y'all. He's probably a little more professional than that. But that's just me ad-libbing. All right. This ended up leading them to fall out, Kodansha and Tezuka, and he didn't really produce another manga for them until like 10 years later. So there's that. Or at least not a full-fledged manga. So, and this also is the reason why the manga and the anime have a different plot, because at Shukan Shonen Sunday, he decided to take the premise of Wonder 3 and change the story tremendously. So it had the same premise, had the same setting, but the story was very, very different for the reasons that I mentioned here. And this incident is called the Wonder 3 incident. Right? And it's very, very juicy because, industrial espionage, and it actually led to the firing of a few members of Mushi Productions, which is Tezuka's animation firm. All right, so I managed to explain that in 3 minutes and a half. So there's that.
Oh man, this is very confusing. Who would have thought that a story about 3 aliens disguised as animals would have such a confusing backstory?
Yeah, man, who are you telling? So there's actually more to the story, and I encourage people to read up on it. But right now, I gotta move on. All right, there is an English version of this story, as I mentioned earlier, and it was thanks to another 2017 Kickstarter. So there's that. And not another 2017 Kickstarter, another Kickstarter in 2017. Okay, I'm getting in the weeds. All right, I need to hurry up. Okay. I'm going to have a link for that, Tezuka's website, a link to the Japanese collections, and an article concerning the story that I just told down in the description below. So there's that. Oh man, gee. Okay, I got through it finally. I had to record this like a billion times. All right, so okay, so that's that. Like and subscribe if you want more of the Big List of Manga. Next time we talk about a story with a very different alien invasion, and I don't know if it has as much a controversial history as the one we just mentioned.
Oh yeah, that story has giant rockmen too.
Hey man, shut up! Don't spoil it. Don't step on the next episode.